This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to the Wrestling POV podcast.
Another segment of Who's Marty? The New Day. Women's Evolution. What was your favorite match? Roman Reigns is in the hot tag news this week. And of course, the Extreme Rules pay-per-view non-points game. An all-new episode of Wrestling POV podcast. Rick.
I love how you threw in the non-pay-per-view.
Well, it's because, they I already know two matches that they recorded. Obviously, the one was the Swamp match. They recorded the other one, which was, I think the bar fight they recorded. And there's another one, too.
Ojo por ojo.
Oh, yeah, the eye versus eye. Yeah, that one they recorded, too. And I'm a little, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously.
No, it's bad.
It is bad. It is. We shouldn't be going through this. They're ruining the game. They're ruining the fact that somebody out there could win. Because we haven't talked about this in a while, but somebody out there can win that championship belt that we're willing to give away as a prize, a main prize, an undisputed championship, Rick. That's what it is.
Yeah, I don't appreciate you wearing it naked either.
I know. I can't help myself. It looks so damn good. I was trying to pull a Shawn Michaels. That's what I was trying to do. I don't know if it worked or not. I guess we should go to Facebook, right? Let's see what we got.
Yeah, let's get started
with the show with our Facebook poll and hater comment of the week. Maybe regular comment or the comment of the week. Women's Evolution. Rick, you posted this, and it's been 5 years since Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha had been called up to the main roster, and which is known as the Women's Evolution. What has been your favorite women's match in the past 5 years? Now, are you talking about the Evolution pay-per-view?
No, this is when
since then?
The women since then. This is when they came up 5 years ago. They came up onto the main roster. So, for me, it's so many great matches that the women had in the past 5 years.
Right.
But I would have to target the Hell in a Cell match with Charlotte and Sasha Banks.
Yes.
Yeah. And
no, I agree with you.
I've been getting a little annoyed lately with how Sasha's been getting treated.
Really? Why is that?
People are undermining her and looking at her as if she's not one of the big people in this game.
Now, do you think, though, it's because of the simple fact she's a little bit of a whiner?
I 100% believe that, but let's not forget who she is and what she's capable of doing in the ring.
I totally agree with you.
There are plenty of whiners that are backstage in the wrestling business that get way more respect than Sasha Banks.
All right, name one.
And Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Oh, man, you just don't. Wow.
Daniel Bryan.
Okay, how's he a whiner?
He's a whiner.
How's he a whiner?
He whines all the time. He wants this. He wants things a certain way. I'll even throw out CM Punk. CM Punk was a whiner.
Oh, wow.
And he gets all the respect in the world,
Yeah.
And listen, I love Jericho. I love CM Punk.
That.
But listen, let's call a spade a spade. They're whiners, but they get respected beyond belief. I feel like with Sasha Banks, it's you look at the people that she's surrounded by, Bayley, Charlotte, and Becky, the four horsewomen.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because they don't stand up for themselves like she does, that they don't get recognized for that. And I feel like people look at Sasha as a whiner, as somebody who is just standing, but she's just standing up for herself, I feel.
Okay.
I feel like she knows what she's worth, and that's what she's going to do. Like, I know my worth. I'm going to stand up for myself.
Yeah, but sometimes that can bite you back in the ass.
Oh, definitely. And apparently it has, because
everybody
out there is like looking down on Sasha Banks as if she's not one of the main people out there killing this business.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, also, and I'm just going to throw a couple jabs at it. You know, she's been hurt, you know? So
That's
sometimes, you know, and you got to look at it this way, too. And it's in sports. And I'm not comparing wrestling with sports. I know they're two different types of things. But as far as contract goes, as far as knowing your worth goes, it all falls under the same thing. And now think about it this way, Rick, and this is the reason why I threw in the fact that she does get hurt a lot. Now, think of it this way. In baseball or basketball or even football, you know, when you get hurt, does that up your value or that decreases your value? It decreases big time, you know? So if you're going to sign somebody, you got to throw in the fact that, dude, you do get hurt a lot, and I'm going to pay you and this and that. So, you know, with Sasha, I'm not taking away that she is a great talent. She is. I like her way better as a heel than I do as a face, number one. She can really, as far as promo work goes and everything else, she really can do it as a heel. As a babyface, she's garbage. But if I was to sign her and she's going to come at me with a figure of, like, I'm just throwing this out there, like $800,000 a year for the next 2 years, I would have to say no. I don't see it. You know, you are injury prone. What I would do is throw out a number like $400,000 or maybe $500,000 a year, and then I'll say, and if you're not injured within that year, then your pay will go up to $800,000 the second year. You see what I'm saying? I see what you're doing there. That's a way, because I'm protecting myself and my business, because a lot of, and you know, I'm a Yankee fan. Oh my Lord, what's the one guy that the Yankees signed from Boston? What's his name? He was the outfielder. I forgot his name. Either way,
Johnny Damon?
No, not Johnny Damon.
Ellsbury.
Short little Ellsbury, Jacoby Ellsbury. You know, the Yankees signed him, and how many times we've seen him in the Yankee uniform? And he signed a big deal. Yeah. And you're going to tell me that, you know, oh, he's worth it. He's worth it. Yeah, we haven't even seen him play one game in Yankee Stadium yet. So, you know, to say that you know what your worth is, yeah, that's all good and everything. But at the same time, as a company, you know, think of it as yourself, that you're the one that owns this company, and this person you want to sign this person, but is injury prone. Sometimes it could be a hassle in the back. Do you really want to deal with that? Is the money really worth it to bring that person in? Are you going to make money off of this person if you're paying him this much? And then,
if we're talking about Vince McMahon, hell yeah, you keep bringing Goldberg back.
Exactly. No, I know that. I know. But I'm talking about other companies other than WWE, because WWE can just sign anybody they want, to be honest.
And let's just be real. Like, when it comes to Sasha Banks, her and Charlotte really put this women's division on the map. Because Bayley was still in NXT, and Becky was still green. Mm-hmm. So,
but I think at the same time with Bayley and Becky, they helped too. They carried the rest of the load. You know, but I do agree that Sasha and Charlotte. I agree to that. But you know, it's funny though. Like, let's just say we're having this conversation at a WWE live event, and you know who would have a problem with what you just said, Rick?
Who?
You know, seriously, Natalya. I think Natalya would definitely have a problem with it, because you got to remember too, in NXT, it was her versus Charlotte. Remember? In that one match, and Bret Hart showed up, and Ric Flair showed up crying, as always. But, you know, so I think she would have a problem with that, because she would have to say, oh, I was involved in that too. But I get where you're coming from, Rick, because I do agree with it. Now, how do you explain it to somebody like Natalya, who will be mad, who will be upset?
She could be mad. She could be upset. Natalya, you were part of the Divas. That's what you were. That's what you chose to be when you decided to go to Total Divas. And instead of focusing on your in-ring career, you were focusing on your reality shows and your chat, Twitter, and Instagram.
True.
And don't get me wrong, because I'm a big fan of Natalya for many, many years. In the last couple of years, it's been dying down. I would say the last 5 years, it has been decreasing a lot.
Yeah.
Because Natalya has not been taking herself seriously.
No.
You know? Her in-ring work has decreased, in my opinion.
Really?
And she's never had a promo skill in her life.
She never did, no.
So,
no.
and she's choosing to do acting and promos and stuff like that, and it's just not coming out sincere or genuine. So for me, Natalya, sorry, not sorry. You were on the outskirts of the women's evolution. I think, like I said, Sasha, Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, Paige, they had a bigger take on the women's evolution. And, Natalya was just one of the foremothers of wrestling.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree, dude. I totally agree with you. I just threw it out there because, like I said, if we did this in a live WWE event, she would have a problem with what you just said. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. And she probably would hit you.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and TJ too. But no, I agree with you though. I really do. But these other girls, Becky, Paige, even, what's her name, Bayley. They're all part of it too, and it's bringing people up like Io Shirai. It's bringing people up like Mia Yim. Oh my God. Mercedes Martinez making a comeback now. So it's. I honestly,
Shayna
in my opinion,
Baszler, it's just
Shayna Baszler, yeah.
We're getting women of all shapes and sizes, all different ethnicities, and races, and it's just culturally, women's wrestling is becoming a melting pot, and I'm loving it.
But I do have to say, I think the best women's division is WWE, hands down. They topple everybody. All right, so now let's go back to the Facebook poll, which was the women's match in the past 5 years. I got to agree with you. The Sasha and Charlotte in that in the Hell in the Cell.
Hell in the Cell, yep.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. Andrew Wallace says Charlotte Flair versus Becky, last woman standing match at Evolution, and Charlotte Flair versus Asuka at WrestleMania. I don't know about that one.
That one I don't like. That one, first of all, I am a big fan, and you know this, of stories and psychology. And that WrestleMania match did not have any of that. The build to the match was great, but then you dropped it by having Asuka tap out to a move in which she didn't work the leg at all.
Yeah.
She didn't do any damage to her legs.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That whole match, you could have been working her leg.
Yeah.
For that figure eight. She tapped out immediately.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Okay.
And it did nothing for Asuka afterwards.
No, it didn't. I think it damaged her more. But she regained she rejuvenated herself too.
Absolutely.
So we'll give Asuka that much credit. Elio Canella from Wrestling POV Global. He said Bayley versus Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
Yes, absolutely.
And that was a good match. That was a good match.
Legendary. It's actually in the top 100 matches of all time.
Really?
WWE, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. What else do we got? Drew McIntyre's title reign. Now, Rick, care to explain yourself why you picked this as a subject?
The way I look at it is this. Drew McIntyre has come onto the scene as a WWE champion. And for a long time, this has been coming, and he was soaring into the WWE Championship picture. And the way I look at it is this. What has he done? Where has he gone? And what is he doing? He's a champion at WrestleMania, defeats Brock Lesnar, but then he comes into what after that? He has this whole thing with Bobby Lashley, and I just don't understand what happened after Bobby Lashley. Like, it just seemed like WWE just dropped the ball with him, and they just didn't move forward. So it's just like, is Drew moving forward after Bobby Lashley No, I felt like he was rising, and then he just went flat after Bobby Lashley. And now with Drew, now he's fighting Dolph Ziggler. It's like, is this actually a competitive guy for him? Is this going to raise his value if he defeats Dolph Ziggler? No. He's gonna. So I feel like he plateaued once he got. See what I did there? Plateaued. I feel like he plateaued when he got to Bobby Lashley instead of rising up. So for me, it's just like I said, he plateaued. I don't think he's defeating Dolph Ziggler does nothing for him. Losing
absolutely
kills
not.
him.
Yeah, that's true too. But now I'm gonna throw this at you. Do you think it has something to do with the whole, lockdown thing, the COVID-19?
I want to blame that because I really like Drew.
Yeah.
But I honestly think the biggest mistake they did was turn him face.
You think so?
Like the countdown, I feel like the attitude, it just comes off like acting.
Mm-hmm.
That like we say this a lot about heels. Like sometimes they're acting like a bad guy
instead of being the bad guy.
They're not embracing it. Yeah. And that's what I feel like with Drew McIntyre. He's never been a good face. I never liked him as a face.
No, I mean, he can do it. That's just the thing. He can do it. But I think his problem is right now is that he's being a little bit too cocky. I like the very confident Drew. Like, he cut a promo where I was just like, wow, this is probably one of Drew's best promo work. And you can tell, and that's the thing with WWE. You can tell when a wrestler, when they're cutting a promo, that they're doing it themselves. That this was like ad-libbed or some shit. And you can tell when it's scripted. With Drew, you can tell that a lot of his is just straight up script. He's trying to remember his lines and everything else. But I've seen Drew as a face cut some really, really good promos. And it's like, that's the Drew I wouldn't mind seeing. You have a little bit of a heel in you, which is fine for Drew. But to be a complete baby face, I think that's like, I agree with you. But a rumor that I heard, and I'm going to throw this out there now, is that they want to take the belt off of Drew and have him do another. Once fans start getting back into the ring, that they're going to have him chase the belt again. So that way he can have his moment, but with the fans. Now, if that's true, do you think it's too late for Drew? If that happens?
I don't think it's ever too late for somebody. I honestly think momentum, though, will be slowed down, and it will take time to get back up to that build. I think anybody can come back from a bad story or from a bad title reign. Look at Randy Orton, who's had a lot of championships in his career. He's had some bad title reigns after he beat Bray Wyatt. I think that was one of his worst title reigns, and he wasn't over anymore. Everybody was actually over Randy Orton, and slowly but surely, look at where he's at now. He's back to Legend Killer status. He's back on top. They're teasing that he's going to be going after the title after Big Show. So it's just like, it's one of those things where it's never too late. So I think if you was to take the title off of Drew, he would have potential and time to get back up to the top with no problem. Yeah.
I don't know how I exactly feel about that. This was his big moment, I think, was at WrestleMania, with or without a crowd. But it was against somebody like Brock, who, I mean, do you really take Brock serious?
No, you can't have a good match with Brock at this point in his career.
Yeah, so, no, I agree with him. But I think, if anything, what they should have done was, honestly, just made Drew lose that title. Not now. I'm talking about at WrestleMania. Not have him win. Just not have him win. Because I honestly think him winning it the second time, but this time it's in front of a crowd, I think it just takes away from a lot of stuff for him.
I would have given it to Bobby Lashley, honestly.
Yeah.
I think right now heels can do a lot better as champions with no crowd than a babyface champion.
That is true.
And one thing that we're leaving out is the grading process. Is it Drew A? Is it Drew B, Drew Barrymore? Or is it Drew C, Drew Carey?
Oh, jeez.
The way I have to grade it, I would go with the B. I would give him a B. He was an A. Like I said, he was rising to the top, and then he declined, and he just kind of plateaued and just stayed at the B. So, I'm going to go with a B on his championship run so far.
I agree with you. I'll go with a B. Same thing. But it's like I said, though. I mean, he started off hot, but that's because there was a crowd. Yeah. And it just seems like it's dying down because there's no crowd there. He can't get hype anymore. It's hard.
He had all the momentumums behind him.
Yeah. Josh Sanders said B, but not his fault. I blame the writers for putting him against Dolph. It's supposed to be him versus Jinder, but hopefully him and Dolph put on a good show. But I got a feeling it's going to be a Claymore and Penn. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's just, for me, it's just,
I don't see it happening.
I think
especially with the stipulation secret that they have. So it's going to be more than that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, but it's like I said, though, it's for me, the part that really hurt him the most was just the fact that it happened without a crowd. I think that's what just hurt him more so than anything. And at the same time, you're absolutely right. What they should have done was they should have done like an angle where he got hurt or something, or he got attacked. This would have been a perfect surprise attack. Who attacked him to cost him his chance at WrestleMania to win this title? And then all of a sudden they announce Bobby Lashley's going to get a title shot. Bobby Lashley wins the title because I'm telling you right now, the one thing everybody wants to see is Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Yep. I don't know why, but everybody wants to see that. So they could have done that. That could have been like a quick curveball and thrown him in, because then that way it wouldn't take away from Drew's moment in front of nobody. Because it happened in front of nobody. Absolutely zero. Not like how it is today when they got probably like 20 people. It happened in front of zeros. Nobody was there. So that's got to be hard on the guy. So I think what they could have thrown an easy curveball and do an angle where somebody attacked Drew in the back. Oh my God, this and that. And then like Vince can come out and say, well, I'm going to announce the number one contender, which is Bobby Lashley. And then Lashley comes out, he beats Brock, and then put him in the storyline because he's a heel. And you're exactly right. Heels can benefit from this more so than baby faces. And as a champion, it's hard to get that push. We said it over and over again that Jeff Hardy, he needs that crowd to do his promos. And without that crowd, his promos are just god-awful. But so you got Lashley winning the title, and then have him do these storylines with whoever and giving people opportunities, because he would benefit that. As a matter of fact, have him hold that title till next year's WrestleMania. And then as time goes on, and then once this pandemic is over and COVID-19 is done and fans starts coming into the arenas for the shows, then start resurrecting Drew back into the picture. Then he can cut a promo and say some freaking coward attacked me from behind and this and that. And then bring that story back, because then people will be like, shit, that's right. He did get attacked. Who was it? Oh my God. Now everybody will be reinvested in this and to find out who it was. And then obviously it would be Lashley, the one that attacked him, so he can get the shot and he won the title. There's two things that can happen with that. Number one, it'll give Bobby Lashley more heat because he did the dastardly thing of attacking somebody so he can get his shot. He got his shot and he won it. And then number two, I think it would boost Drew's popularity as a babyface. and have him, and then now the chase begins. And then have Lashley going over on him over and over to the point to where us as fans believe, shit, I don't even think Drew can beat him. That way it can be that much more special, because I think between Drew and Bobby Lashley, they can really have a good match in front of a crowd. So to do this and then have it at WrestleMania, I think then Drew can properly, that would have been the right way for Drew to get his moment, his WrestleMania moment. Yeah. But I just think it just took, with what happened with this pandemic, I just think it took it all away. I really do.
Absolutely.
And I think it did damage Drew a little bit, unfortunately. So, all right. You know what? That's it for now. Let's go straight into the wrestling news from around the world. Rick, you can take it away.
I will. But first, let's go over who's Marty from...
Oh, we forgot about that. Shame on me.
Shame on you. Shame.
All right, so let's go to Who's Marty.
Who's Marty, our new segment that we do weekly.
This one was hard.
This week we have the New Day, and we're going to select who is the Marty Jannetty of this tag team between Kofi Kingston and Big E.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen people talking about this online, and a lot of people are saying Big E is the Marty because Kofi had his moment.
Right.
When I look at this tag team, I see a superstar, and I see a guy that's overcome his run, and that is Kofi Kingston is done.
What do you mean overcome his run?
I think his time is over. There's no more. His glass ceiling has already been broken through. Okay. There is a gold piece there, and it's Big E. For me, Big E's 1,000% the superstar of this tag team. Whether it be his promo skills, his in-ring ability, and his ability to become a different person. We've seen him as a heel, as Big E Langston. We've seen him as an NXT champion. We've seen him as an Intercontinental champion before he joined with New Day. Yep. We've seen Kofi do all of those things and more. Tag team champion, Intercontinental champion, U.S. champion. But as a tag team, when I look at these two, I see Kofi as the guy that gets his ass kicked. Big E saves him. Yeah. Big E is, for me, way more athletic than Kofi Kingston. And don't get me wrong, Kofi can do a lot of things. Has a lot of charisma. But he is in the shadow of Big E. There is nothing that Kofi can do that Big E can't do. And for me, that is why I think Kofi Kingston is the Marty Jannetty of this team. And Big E is the Shawn Michaels.
Wow.
Hands down.
All right. I'm going to read a couple comments before I get to my opinion. Josh Sanders says, it's Big E. And not fairly, though, Big E never got the push or a solo try. But I think in time, he might have a chance to be better than Kofi. Clay Cummings said, I hate to say it, but it's Big E. Kofi definitely has the better singles push. And for the New Day, they definitely pushed Kofi through the roof last year. I wish Big E would at least get a chance as a singles competitor. But how popular New Day is and has been, I doubt we see this. Wish a heel turn for Big E, but time will tell. I agree with that. Because we've said it many times how Big E should have turned heel on Kofi. That would have been a storyline I definitely would have watched for sure. Now, for my pick, because the hot tag news is it's pretty hot. We got a lot of comments on that, so I don't want to spend too much time on reading people's comments on here. I'm sorry. My bad. But anyway, I do agree. I think Kofi is definitely the Marty of the group. And the reason, and I'll tell you this, the reason why is because I've done a lot of complaining about Kofi during his title chase, because I've said it many times, and you guys heard me say this, and I still stand true to it today. There was so many times he was acting like a wrestler instead of being that wrestler. A lot of his promos, it just wasn't believable enough for me to stand behind the guy and says, yes, oh my God, I'm pumped up, I'm psyched. It just wasn't there. It really wasn't. If anything, think Big E honestly outshines Kofi because there's something about Big E, his personality, his character, his charisma, all that stuff shouts a star in the making as far as you want this guy to win. There's a few antics that he does that are unexplainable, and it's like, Biggie, what are you doing? It's a little bit extra. Yeah, so if he can tone that back a little bit and just be that person that I know that he can be, I think he definitely outshines Kofi, in my opinion. The Who's Marty other group, in my opinion, is definitely Kofi because, I'm sorry, Kofi is not believable. He's just not. I'm sorry. I don't know what people see in it. He acts like, I'm not gonna say he acts like he's better than everybody, but he acts like he's paid his due so much that he deserves this. And it's like, no, brother, everybody.
Some guys are just meant to be in certain spots.
Yeah, but my thing is everybody pays their dues.
Of course.
Everybody pays their dues. You're not going to be so much better than another person because you paid your dues first. No, there's other people paying their dues right now. They're going through the same motion. They're going through the same road as you did. Some more than others, some less than others, and they got this spotlight. And I'm talking about those that just went straight into wrestling without paying their dues, and it's all because of who they were. But at the same time, I just don't see Kofi. Like, if New Day breaks up, who goes where and who shines more?
Big E goes to the top for sure.
He has to.
And then you have Kofi. I feel bad for Xavier Woods out of anybody.
Yeah, I do too.
Like they won't know what to do with him. Though I would put him back to NXT and fight for the Cruiserweight title for sure. He would.
I think he would elevate that title. But I can't take that away from Pablo Escobar. From Hijo de Fantasma, Santos Escobar. I don't want to take it from him because he's doing justice to that title.
Yeah, no.
Especially what's going on now. But that would be a good feud between him and Xavier Woods.
Absolutely.
They definitely would tear the house down.
And I want to say this about Big E, and it just popped in my head. Mm-hmm. And this is probably the biggest compliment anybody can give Big E.
Right.
He is, to me, the modern day Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, yes. I definitely see that. For sure, without the list. But yeah, no, I definitely see that. Yes, baby. No, I you know what? I do agree with that. But as far as Biggie goes, do you see him more as a heel or a face?
I'd rather see him as a heel.
Really?
He has a lot more potential as a heel
really?
than as a baby face.
I think it's a baby face. I think it's a baby. Yes, I think I think he would be over more as a baby face because he has character.
That's true too.
And he does not act that way. He is that way. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Yeah. When we saw Kofi, he was acting like it instead of being it. With Big E, he is it. He acts like it. Okay, he is it. He doesn't act like it. Sorry. So it's like if you see these off segments with Big E, he's really like that. He's got character. He's a very characteristic person. And I think charismatic, that too. But I think he would do more as a baby face.
No, you
modern day Dusty.
I agree with you. I definitely as
a baby face, as a heel, sorry. Go ahead.
There's a bunch of heels already.
Yeah, there is a bunch of heels. But for some reason I wouldn't like Big E, and honestly I didn't even like Big E when he was a heel. There was something missing there. Missing there when he was a heel. But as a baby face, he can definitely get over. He can definitely get the crowd behind him. He definitely can really elevate a match. And for a big guy, he can do a lot of stuff in that ring and go toe-to-toe with the best of them. So, all right.
There you have it. Who's Marty this week? Big E is not Marty. It's Kofi Kingston.
Kofi. So, do we got any other ones for next week? Or
Yeah,
no?
well, stay tuned because next week we're going to be doing the Wild Samoans. Tony's favorite tag team of all time.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see.
I'm curious. Yeah.
It's going to be out
I'm
there.
very, very curious. All right, now, with that being said, it is time for the wrestling news from around the world. Now, take it away, Rick.
All right, before we do that, let's get into some birthdays. X-Pac turns 48 years old.
Wow, we still remembering him, huh?
Two-time
terrible.
Hall of Famer. Two-time
Yes.
Hall of Famer X-Pac.
Does he really deserve to be a two-time Hall of Famer, though?
He doesn't deserve to be a
A
one-time.
Exactly.
He doesn't deserve to be a nominee.
No. Oh, my Lord, that's
When
terrible.
the biggest moment in your career is the first big moment of your career, that it shouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
But
The one thing we talk
honestly,
about is him beating Razor Ramon as the 1-2-3 kid. That's it. So
I
what is
agree.
it? Like, come on.
It is. That's his only moment. That's his only moment, in my opinion. He really hasn't done anything in wrestling to put him as a Hall of Fame status. And
No.
I'm sorry to say, but I've mentioned this many, many times, especially if you're out there in the indies, that if a wrestler owns a wrestling promotion, they always put them and their friends over. It happens all the time. If you're in the indies, if you're an indie wrestler, you know what I'm talking about because it's true and it still is out there today. I'm sure. I'm sure of it. X-Pac, sorry to say, he only got those 2 Hall of Fames because of his friends. That's it.
Absolutely. Bubba Ray Dudley turns 49 years old.
Okay.
Double J Jeff Jarrett turns 53.
Wow. What's he been? Is he still working for WWE?
I don't know. I don't know. Charlie Caruso turns 33 years old.
Hi.
Jesse the Body Ventura turns 69 years old.
You gotta speak up.
Oh, Lord. Poor
Yo,
Jesse.
he was a mayor
Yes. And governor.
in Minnesota.
Wait, he was governor too, right?
He was
Governor of
mayor,
Minnesota?
Mayor.
Was it mayor?
No,
I thought he was governor.
was Arnold was
Yeah,
the
I know
governor.
that was Arnold, but I thought he was governor of Minnesota too.
Was he governor of Minnesota?
I think so.
He might have been governor.
I think so.
I don't know. One of us is right, one of us is wrong.
Yeah, but he was in politics.
Yes. Heath Slater turns 37 years old.
What?
Yeah.
You got kids. 20 of them.
Mandy Rose turns 30 years old.
Good Lord.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously. Last but not least, Mil Mascaras turns 78 years old.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it's interesting that he has a birthday this week.
Yeah.
Well, happiest of birthdays to him. This week on WPOV Quarantine, we will be having an episode of Mask versus Face Paint Tournament. So it's going to be real interesting. Mil Mascaras is in the tournament, obviously.
Yeah.
And we're going to pick which is the best of it all. The mask or the face paint. We got 16 and 16 going head-to-head against each other, and we're going to have one overall winner. Is it going to be the mask or is it going to be a face paint person? Stay tuned for that next Thursday on our Facebook page of Wrestling POV podcast.
That's going to be awesome.
Our last episode of Quarantine was awesome as well, as we had the manager's special.
Yes.
We had...
It's a lot of fun.
we had Dirty Duke Durango. We had Raven Lake, Andy Anderson, TJ Logan, and Tony Diaz, and myself. Elio was blacked out or had a blackout, one of those things. And we went over some of the greatest managers of all time. So make sure you catch out on that episode on our Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
Great time. I love talking about that with those guys. Now, Tony, it's time for the wrestling news from around the world. Rusev got the Rona.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Rona got him.
At this point,
Rona's got my
got-
baby.
You gotta say it's Lana, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
last week we were saying her parents got it, but it wasn't because of Lana. Now Rusev got it. Unless Rusev was staying with her parents. I mean, connect the dots on that one.
That's true. That is true. She wasn't on Raw this weekend, was it?
No, she wasn't. So she's probably getting quarantined.
Yeah.
Sunny, WWE Hall of Famer, as announced on our quarantine episode of Managers, was arrested again. How many times can a person get arrested before it starts to stick that you gotta change your life?
Yeah. Unfortunately, people like her, and here's the thing, because we're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And she posts a lot of things that I don't agree with, but at the same time, she posts a lot of things where she plays victim a lot.
Okay.
If you're not friends with her on Facebook, I'm not gonna share it. I'm not gonna post it. I'm not gonna scare. I'm not that type of person, unless it pisses me off. But she plays victim a lot on her personal page. She also has a few choice words that really hurt people, and she doesn't see it as either offensive. She never sees it as I'm just stating my opinion. She never sees it as she only sees it as I'm only stating my opinion, but she never sees it as that she really like words hurt. In other words, she has made some comments, and people and it's funny because people like she'll make these comments, and somebody on her page, they screenshot it and they share it to these other wrestling news sites. And then when everybody's getting on her ass, that same person, and I've seen this before many times when she has made some comments, rude comments, and then that same person will try to comment on her page and say, see what they're saying about you? It's like, dude, you're the one that put it out there. And there was something I want to call this dude out so many times, but I'm just like, Tammy, or Sonny, you gotta check your list. Look at people who's doing it. Like, there's so many times I wanted to DM her and be like, girl, straighten up. Look at who's doing this to you. Not making excuses for her, but I'm just saying, you made a comment of.
Evaluate her circle of friends.
She does.
She does. In the mirror and make some changes.
She does. Because you made the comment. When does somebody being arrested so many times? When do they start reevaluating themselves? It's hard to when you got people like that throwing. And honestly, I think she keeps these people on purpose because that way she can make herself stay relevant by making these comments, and then knowing she knows that these type of people is going to pass that word out to other wrestling sites, so that way she can get recognized again. I don't know.
Well,
but yeah, she needs help.
She needs. Yeah.
She does.
Some good news. Dawkins of the Street Profits has a baby girl.
No way.
Congratulations to him. That's why I'm guessing that's why the Street Profits haven't been in attendance. And the Street Profits have cracked 100 days as tag team champions.
No.
Yeah.
How many times they defended it, though?
Yeah. They are the longest reigning champions since the New Day had that 800-day reign or something like that.
Wow.
So...
nice.
Whatever that is. Former WWE Tag Team Champions Gallows and Anderson have signed with Impact Wrestling and will be at Slammiversary tonight.
Yeah.
So that's something to check out. I mean, everybody's 90 days are up after getting released, and there's a lot of speculation that there's going to be a lot of former WWE guys at Impact.
Wow.
Also, EC3 has been leaving out a bunch of messages.
Yeah, I've seen that.
On Twitter and stuff like that. And this guy, No Way
Jose. He's got a new look.
Playing one of his videos, EC3's videos, in his new promo.
Mm-hmm. Burning his old stuff.
Levy Valens is what he's going by now. Levy.
But he wasn't burning his stuff. He was throwing his old outfits.
He threw his gear out.
He burnt his picture, but he threw his gear out in the trash. Yeah.
Yeah, because no one's gonna burn their gear. I mean,
no.
Gear is valuable.
Yeah.
But no way, Jose.
He can sell it
Let
later.
me tell you this. Let me whisper in your ear real quick, bro. Whoever did your editing, you gotta change them. That promo was trash, bro.
That was.
And the way you were talking, I'm not sold. Remember what we say about Kofi acting like a bad guy?
Yeah.
That's what I got. And it's hard to be a bad guy with braids and the straightened out hair and the smooth baby face.
Yeah.
And especially when you're coming off a guy like No Way Jose, you gotta build into this crazy character. Everybody wants to be crazy.
I know,
it's
right?
easy. It's gotta be in you to be crazy.
That's true.
You gotta have that little switch that you can flip. And
Not
No
with
Way
him.
Jose, Levy Valens, it ain't you, bro.
Wait, what's his name again?
Levy Valens.
Levy?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm getting a lot of and Valens.
Valens. Okay.
I'm getting a lot of I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm getting a lot of Orlando Jordan. From
I
this.
heard that too. I heard that
Getting
too.
a lot of that. Yeah. So.
Heard that too.
We'll see.
Well, especially the way he did his hair.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's all I got for the news.
Go
Tony.
check it out. All right, so rumors. Vince McMahon will not leave the WWE to his children, Stephanie or Shane, and is already training Triple H to take over the reins.
That's still his child.
Well,
I
in
mean,
law.
In law.
Child-in-law.
Yeah.
Would WWE really change?
No.
With Triple, I'm talking like if Triple H takes over. Really? You don't think so?
Triple H, the same guy that got X-Pac 2 Hall of Fame rings?
True. That is true. But, come on, look what he's done for NXT.
Okay.
Seriously. I think he can do something. But here's the thing. I don't want him following the same guidelines as Vince McMahon did.
No, absolutely
Or does. He can't do that. Because if it's saying that Vince McMahon is training Triple H to take over the reins, I hope it's more of the business end of it other than the entertainment part.
And you know, Tony, I just want to put this out there because I feel like a lot of people have been trashing on Vince McMahon a lot lately. Let's not forget what this guy has done for the wrestling business.
I agree.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately is one of those things that people like to throw out there.
That is true.
But the guy built the empire that we know of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
The 90s was his time. Let's be real about it. And yeah, it's like George Steinbrenner. Like you said, you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah.
It took him a long time to build that dynasty.
It's true.
He did it in the 70s. They got the 2 championships. They sucked the whole 80s. The 90s, they were on the up and coming. And then by the mid-90s, 4 championships.
Yeah.
That was his time. And then they sucked. They got to the championship a couple times, but they lost. They couldn't get over the hump. Luis Gonzalez with that little bloop single over Mariano Rivera. Bottom of the night, World Series.
Yeah. Bring back some memories, Rick.
Still stinging? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like George Steinbrenner and Vince McMahon are very similar. We're about to see what Bill Belichick's all about. He built a huge dynasty.
Yeah.
Was it Tom Brady or was it Bill Belichick? True. We're gonna find out finally this year. Yeah. So it's
true.
It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, Vince McMahon is an asshole, and he's a douche, and he's a dick, and he fucks with people. Wait, where am I going with this? At the end of the day,
you said Vince created wrestling.
He created what wrestling is. He put it on the mainstream platform, and so let's give him that his just dues.
No, I agree with you. Was it a douchey thing to do what he did in the 90s and 80s? Yeah, it was. It was. But it was smart. It was smart. He cornered the market, as they say in the stock markets. He cornered the market by buying off all these territories and shit like that. Because back in the day, there was territories. You know, you just don't do that to other territories. And he said, fuck him. I bought this person. I bought that brand. You know, he took a his biggest gamble was WrestleMania. The very first that was his biggest gamble. And it was known that if he didn't gamble on WrestleMania, if WrestleMania was a flop, WWE wouldn't exist today. Yep. From what I heard. So there you go. If WrestleMania didn't happen, if WrestleMania wasn't a success, WWE wouldn't exist today. So there you go. Thank the guy, the man, the boss. But no, I agree with you. But he's at the age now, and you guys heard me say this many times on the show, where he's acknowledging that he's out of touch with reality. So that's your cue. It's time for a curtain call, Vince. It's time. It's time. Go retire. You got billions of dollars. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Just go. Retire. Leave the wrestling to somebody who's been, successful in NXT. Because since we started doing our own version of the ratings war and who's been winning week to week, last year was NXT.
Yep.
And they were toe-to-toe with Raw, your baby. So, come on. It's time to retire, dude, and just call it a day and call it quits and let Triple H take care of it. He's not going to bring it down. WWE is already a household name. I don't think anybody can tear it down except for himself, for Vince himself. So, all right, back to the rumors. Cody. It's rumored that Cody wants to do a newer version of the Four Horsemen in the AEW. Okay. So who do you... Obviously, he's going to put himself in this Four Horsemen group. And as we've seen from AEW this week, a little bit of a heelish Cody, we can say. So, 2 questions. Who would be in this Four Horsemen, and... is Cody better? Is it going to be like a heel Four Horsemen?
It's going to be a heel Four Horsemen. And remember, Tully Blanchard was ringside for Cody's match. And he was ringside for FTR's tag team match. FTR.
No. Who was ringside?
Tully.
Oh, Tully. For both? He was?
For both.
All right, I must have missed it.
I see him. I see Cody.
Being the J.J. Dillon?
J.J. Dillon. FTR, Cody, and Sean Spears is the new Four Horsemen.
Oh, terrible.
It's terrible.
That's terrible.
But you saying that now makes a lot of sense. Tully Blanchard was all over that match with Cody.
Oh.
And he represents Sean Spears.
That's
terrible. And
terrible,
Tully was ringside for FTR.
That's not good.
No.
Wow.
No, it's not.
Wow. Oh, man. Tell us what you think. Actually, you know what? Let's do this as a see what other people think. We'll post it on our Facebook page, and you tell us who you think is going to be in the new Four Horsemen if it does happen. If it does happen, just remember you got to pick a J.J. Dillon. Maybe it is Tully. It could be Arn. The FTR, were they like the Tully and not Tully? Tully and Arn. The tag team. Cody. Could be like his father. Or he could be the modern day Ric Flair. Who knows? But you tell us who in AEW would be the rejuvenated new version of the Four Horsemen. You tell us. All right, you're going to get a kick out of this one, Rick. The Jeff Hardy segment with the urine throwing segment. You know whose idea? Who produced that segment? You're going to laugh.
Who?
Devon Dudley.
Jesus Christ. Devon.
Devon Dudley was the mastermind behind the whole throwing the piss segment. Oh my brother, man. Yeah. You didn't testify on that one. That's all I got for the rumors, but I do got a couple things of the ratings for this week. Obviously, because we do our show Saturday, so I'm not able to get the ratings for SmackDown. So probably from here on out, I'll get the ratings for them for the next week's episode. Right now, I got Raw at 1.561 million viewers. AEW finally wins this week at 780,000 viewers, and NXT 631,000 viewers this week for the ratings war. So AEW defeated NXT this week. Now, we're going to obviously go on when we talk about AEW about what happened there, and it just disgusted me. Now, before we go into anything further, I'm going to read this statement now. Because if I do it during AEW and NXT, we're going to take forever, and we still got the pay-per-view non-points game to talk about. Now, this was because here's the thing, and we might as well talk about it now. During AEW on Wednesday, Fyter Fest, obviously Brian Cage lost, so that was the burial of him. But everybody wanted to know, why did Taz bring back the FTW title? Everybody was curious, like, why did you guys bring that back? I mean, obviously we know why, because they weren't even going to push Brian Cage into winning the AEW title, so they gave him his own, which I think is the dumbest thing ever. And I'm going to read some comments, too, from people who and these are fanboys. AEW fanboys were saying this. But here's a comment from Tony Khan. He said, "This thing has been planned for a long time for Brian to make a big intro and make the big splash and challenge Moxley." Really? Did he make a big splash?
No.
Did he make a big intro? Oh, Lord. Brian and Taz, they've established a rapport on television. Tony Khan said this. He also said, when Taz told me he still had the belt, it was a perfect thing to add to the story, I thought. And so a couple of weeks ago when it came up, I really jumped on it. Once I found out he had it and we were able to use it, I wanted to make it part of the story. He said, I wouldn't have done it without his blessing. I mean, he's the one who told me he had it. So once he said he still had possession of it, and I checked, and we're cleared to use it, then at that, you know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah. The
Why he said that? Yeah.
Licensing.
Yeah. And so where was I? Oh, and then at that point, I was like, this is, to me, almost like a no-brainer. It adds so much to the story, to the presentation of Brian. It's so much credibility. The FTW title. Oh my God. And finally, Tony Khan went on to say, I grew up watching ECW, as you know, and that belt meant a lot. Even though it's not a recognized championship, when it was defended or when you saw it, it felt like it was a part of the presentation of Taz as one of the top wrestlers in the sport, and I think it can be the same for Brian Cage.
No.
What?
No one gives a fuck about Taz.
What?
You hitched your wagon to the wrong fucking horse.
What?
Taz is shit.
He really said that, dude. He really said that.
Tony Khan, stick to football, bro. I don't care if you like ECW. Stick to football.
But not just ECW. He said that the FT... No, I'm going to explain. I even forgot about the FTW title. But then he's coming out saying that there was so much credibility to the FTW title? Are you fucking insane? Seriously? Now, these are comments from AEW fanboys. I'm not going to mention names, but one person said, great champion, had to throw in the title in his first match for AEW championship. Should have signed Tessa Blanchard to face Moxley. Another person said they brought that relic back because they're desperate for ratings. And then that relic brought his goofy title with him. And the last one, someone said, is it possible for AEW to have an original idea? My God.
Wow.
I can't make this up. What oh my God. And then actually somebody else commented too. They're saying, and they're going to have this is it's not exactly what this person said, but they said, they mentioned the fact when the $1 Million Man gave his $1 Million championship to Stone Cold Steve Austin. They were comparing it to that. So
Yeah.
it's true. It's true. And I'm flabbergasted, Rick, that this man said that the FTW title was credible, that it meant something, and I forgot all about that title. Okay, no, don't ever. It's like you said, Rick. He needs to stick to freaking football. Period.
Yeah.
Stick to football, dude. Because no. All right, you know what? I'm done because I'm gonna give myself an aneurysm. Rick, go on to injuries.
Wow. Nah, there's no injuries. Let's go into the hot tag news this week.
Yes, the hot tag news.
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. I was just curious. I really was, because in the beginning, when this whole pandemic started, they took Roman out of everything because he chose to stay home. Gotta respect that. So it was just odd for them all of a sudden not to show him. But lately, and I don't know if you noticed this, or maybe I just turned a blind eye to it until recently, but in the beginning of SmackDown, they've been showing Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, maybe, is Roman really at that level to where if he comes back, that'll boost up ratings? So I posted that as the hot tag this week. So, Rick, before I start reading his comments, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to keep it short and simple. Absolutely
Damn.
freaking yes. Him
Really?
coming back brings the ratings up. And you know what? It brings some excitement. Because honestly, Braun as champ is the worst fucking thing they've ever done.
I agree.
Otis has been missing.
MIA, yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing that's supposed to be the surprise shock factor when he does appear.
Yeah.
But who are the top bit? Jeff Hardy is trashed. Trashed. New Day. Come on. Who else is there?
Yeah.
Nobody. You need Roman back. Listen, man. At the end of the day, Roman sells tickets. Roman sells merch. Roman is everything right now. Roman's been everything for a while now. And I wasn't the biggest fan of his, but as when John Cena left and returned, there was a time where I was like, yo, John Cena needs to come back. Because they're missing something.
Right.
And I feel that way with Roman Reigns right now. SmackDown has been bad. We've done 13 weeks since WrestleMania. SmackDown has won once.
Damn.
That's because the other two shows were bad. So for me, 1,000% yes, Roman needs to come back to increase ratings for SmackDown.
Wow. Alrighty. Interesting that you said this, Rick. I'm shocked. I'm in shock. I'm in awe right now.
I know you are. I know. But you gotta listen. I'm a truthful man. If I'm backed into a corner and there's a gun to my head, I will tell the truth.
All right. My opinion, yes. I think it will boost ratings because, again, Roman does sell tickets. He does put butts in seats. Now, with this whole pandemic happening, I don't think we'll see him on TV for a long time. For a very long time. It's kind of good that he takes this break anyway, because I'm sorry to say, the one thing about Vince, and we were just talking about how much of a genius he is and this and that, but he loves to overuse wrestlers. He really does. And he's got to understand, yeah, you're paying them a lot of money, but where's that money going to come from when they get seriously injured? Where's that money going to come from when they just saying, listen, dude, I need a break? I'm sorry to say, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but you are, Rick. CM Punk was like that. He was like, dude, you're using me way too much. And you know what? I 100% agree with him. He did. He used CM Punk all the time. And it was like, dude, I need a break. Actually, you know who else was like that?
Injuries.
Yeah. And you know who else was like that too? Rob Van Dam.
Yeah.
Rob Van Dam was like that. And look how many times they used Rob Van Dam during that time. And he was probably the biggest extreme person they had. And they brought him in the main roster, and Vince loved using him until the point where Rob Van Dam was like, dude, I need a damn break. And then they tried to shit on him because they were doing tribute to the troops. And they said that all that is volunteer. It's all voluntary. And they asked, at the time, they asked Rob Van Dam. Now, mind you, I'm all for it. Okay, obviously I'm a veteran, but I'm not mad because Rob Van Dam said no. He said, no, I don't want to do that. And they were like, why? Like, trying to make him feel guilty.
Yeah.
It's like, he goes, dude, I'm burnt out. And now you want me to travel across the world? I haven't seen my wife in 6 months. And you want me to travel across, or wives, and you want me to and you want me to travel across the world to do a show? He goes, no, dude, I'm not going to do it. And you can't force me to because you just said this was voluntary. And then, of course, he goes, I knew there was going to be some repercussions because I didn't go, even though it was voluntary. And I guess they did something to him. I forgot what it was. I forgot the full statement on what he said. But at the same time, it's like, is he really? He was burnt out. And I'm like I said, I'm a veteran. I'm not mad at his statement. I'm not.
Yeah.
He have every right to be like, dude, I'm burnt out. I need a break. A lot of these wrestlers need a break. And we had this discussion last week about off season.
Yeah.
About the off, yeah. And this is why. Injuries happen. They can break the fuck down. Especially if they got a family back at home. And then I hate it when people say this. Well, that's why it's better to stay, single without kids. Really? So people can't have a freaking personal life outside of wrestling? Give me a break. Just pulled a gorilla monsoon. Give me a break.
Would you stop?
All right, so, but in my opinion, Roman, take as much time as you need. When you come back, yes, I do think that it'll boost ratings. So, all right, here's some of the comments, and then we'll just take a break. There was a lot of comments, and guys, I really, really, really appreciate it. We all do. But we do have a time frame. Somewhat. Josh Sanders says, come back to end Braun's title run is all he is going to do. You just mentioned that, right? Jesse Pennington said, make him the mastermind behind the hacking, turning him heel, new music, new Heyman guy. I heard that many times on these comments. Should he be that mystery hacker?
No. There was this movie where the guy that plays Thor, Hemsworth, he played a hacker. That is not believable. I get it. Anybody can be a computer hacker.
Yeah.
But when you're fucking 6'5", muscled out of every fucking part of your body,
there
ain't no way you're fucking computer hacking. I'm sorry. It's not believable. So no, he shouldn't be the computer hacker.
I think he should.
Ow.
What they can do is deter it from people and be like, he hired somebody to be a hacker. That'll change, because then that way it won't
IT
look
guy.
like him. Yeah.
Ali was his IT guy.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, I still think that's a good idea. Paul T. Phillips says probably, but I still don't like the guy. So he said, "Let me explain." And I love this comment because I posted right after somebody writing down notes, like keep on writing as he's talking. But he went on to explain that instead of running up the singles ranks when the Shield broke up, Vince made Roman the guy and constantly was given main event and title matches and was constantly driven down our throats to like the guy. Without Roman, Vince has shoved Charlotte Flair down our throats to be the girl. But I must say, I'm enjoying the break without her. Vince needs to give up on being a control freak. Being in control and let Triple H take over. At least with Paul at the helm, more younger superstars would get opportunities instead of just the usual Charlotte, Roman, Asuka, etc., etc. It would be nice if Kairi Sane, someone different who has paid their dues, won the title from Asuka, but we know Vince won't let that happen. Anywho, it was constantly Roman, Charlotte, Becky being constantly driven down our throats, and I got sick of it. Do you agree with this comment?
That's an absolutely great statement. And you know what, Tony? That is going to be our fan comment of the day.
Whoa!
Paul T. Phillips, congratulations. You are the fan comment of the week. Fan comment of the week and hater comment of the week is brought to you by Kenny Casanova, the biggest hater I know, but also one of the most generous people I know. Go to WOHW.com, purchase a book today. He's written books for Kamala, Tito Santana, Dangerous Danny Davis, Sabu, Vader, and more. Check it out at WOHW.com today. Purchase your book and help Kenny Casanova continue to be a hater, but also one of the generous guys out there.
True. All right, there's more comments though. Charlie Lovelace says, no, he's not all that. I think he sucks. Joseph Rodriguez says, no. Nathan O'Brien says, most likely. Joseph Rodriguez again come back and says, get rid of him. Dude, why that? He should be the hater comment. Jesus, man. What the hell's wrong with people, Rick? All right, Alex Whitten. He'll be the last one, and then we got to take a break. And I think this was actually a cool one, and actually a cool idea. All right, Alex Whitten went on to say, I don't know about big, but a boost, yes. Now, if he was let off the leash, or the leash was longer, and he was able to do what he wanted, then it could be big. Let him turn heel and get the Uso penitentiary heel, and that could be something. Don't have them do a New Day thing. Let Roman do his singles career, and the Usos run roughshod over the tag division, occasionally helping each other out in matches, and that could be something. Don't let just one individual be the leader. Let them be collective mind and conduct themselves as they see fit. Not a bad idea.
Who said that?
Alex Whitten.
Alex Whitten is the fan comment of the week. Sorry, Paul T. Phillips. Fan comment of the week is brought to you by Kenny Casanova.
Now, here's one that's interesting. Lynn Pierce, and then we got to take a break. She said, yes, he would. Read a lot of articles that say the same thing. He will return with a new look, a new music, no more ref to Shield. I don't understand. Oh, reference to Shield. Also, some predict he will return to Raw as Seth going on a few month leave to be with Becky. Interesting.
I guess.
That's why I say he might go to Raw. Might be.
Yeah, I mean, they could use the ratings too. 1.5 is really low for them.
For them, yeah.
They're normally pushing 2.1.
Mm-hmm.
To be at 1.5 million is not what they usually get. So.
No, it's not. All right, so if anybody else out there has any questions or comments or things that you want us to talk about or even have as a hot tag news for the week, we got a Facebook page, people. Wrestling POV. Look it up. Post it on there. And we can talk about it. We might talk about it. We could talk about it. And if we do, we may make fun of you. There. I'm just kidding.
You've been warned.
But no, we will. Yeah. I am not in control of anybody else on the show or global if they start making fun of you. Okay? We're just going to leave it at that. With that being said, we're going to take a quick pause for the cause. When we come back, we got This Week in Wrestling and the Extreme Rules non-pay-per-view points game.
This is Chavo Guerrero Jr. Listen to the Wrestling POV podcast. You guys truly bring the Latino heat. Viva la raza.
Hi, I'm WWE superstar Charlotte Flair, also known as the Queen, and listen to Wrestling POV podcast and always do it with Flair. Woo!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go to collarandemobrand.com. Save yourself 10% today by using promo code WPOV. Also, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingPOV. Get yourself a new t-shirt today of the Wrestling POV podcast. We now included a Wrestling POV Global t-shirt where the legend and gentlemen come together on one t-shirt. You don't want to miss out on these great opportunities. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingPOV. Get yourself a t-shirt today, one of 4, or get all 4 for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Don't miss out on a great opportunity to help support the Wrestling POV podcast and Wrestling POV Global.
Do you know where we are?
No. I'm dying. With that being said, it is now time for This Week in Wrestling.
This Week in Wrestling. All righty. We're going to start off with Raw. I said this was a little bit of a downgrade from last week.
Yes.
The highest moment for me was Sasha and Bayley versus the Kabuki Warriors. I gave that a 3. The lowest point I had was Seth's promo. It was just god awful. I had a lot of 1.5s on this show. Just a couple 2s. A couple 2.5s actually. But it was cool to see Bianca Belair come back. Shayna came back. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought the funniest damn moment on Raw was Akira Tozawa when he said, he goes, "I'm out." Yo, I was cracking up when he did that. I was like, that is too funny. So, no side notes because, like I said, this was a little bit of a bland show. Overall, I gave Raw a 1.88. Rick?
Wow. My highest point was Angel Garza and Andrade defeating the Viking Raiders. I gave that a 3.5. My lowest point was the Seth Eye for an Eye KO promo. Gave that a 0.5. I am over this. Please stop with this fucking ojo por ojo, eye for an eye shit. What are they going to do? They're talking about ripping a person's eye out of its socket, Tony.
What's sad is that when Seth did this promo, and this is why I gave it a 1, should have been a 0.5 to be honest, is that when he did his promo, he goes, "I didn't realize that we have to take each other's eye out to win." That was the worst Seth promo or Seth impersonation I ever did. As bad as his promo. What?
Yes, it was terrible. One moment that made me laugh out loud for sure was Angel Garza backstage getting his rose taken away by the Viking Raider and given to Charlie Caruso. That face was hilarious.
Yeah, no.
And I honestly do hope that we get a Charlie Garza romance.
Oh, Charlie Garza. I thought you meant Charlie and the other Viking Raider.
Oh, no.
Well, they need to stop with that already. Come on. It's again, I have to reference the knock-knock joke you hear all the time. You know, come on. It's already played out. You did it during the Street Profits storyline. It wasn't funny then. It's not funny now.
No,
it's enough. And honestly, let me tell you something. Not for nothing. Garza, he's one of the up-and-coming stars that WWE has right now. And if they do anything like that again, to me, it's going to be damaging to him.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Agree. Overall, I gave Raw a 1.9 this week. I did enjoy Bayley and Sasha defeating the Kabukis.
That was a good show.
I think everything with the women on Raw has been top-notch. Ruby Riott and Belair and the Iconics, Shayna Baszler, they've been top-notch. Everything with Big Show and Randy Orton and Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio have been trash. It is now time for NXT POV. Mamma Mia. For me, the highest point was Damian Priest defeating Cameron Grimes. Gave that a 3.
Yeah.
Damian Priest is a hell of a talent. He is one of the best guys you have in that locker room, and I wish the best for him. The lowest point, that opening segment with Keith Lee and Dijakovic.
Yes.
Keith Lee's salutations is fucking atrocious.
It is.
He sounds like the Cowardly Lion. It is so bad. It's bad. And how come I didn't put this together in the past? Dijakovic is like Rob Gronkowski. I didn't know he was like a what's up, bro kind of fucking guy. Like a fucking Jersey Shore fucking fist pumping guy. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was ignorance on my part because I saw the name Dijakovic, so I just thought he was Eastern European. But the guy is from like Boston.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was terrible. And also the match with Dijakovic was terrible. I gave that a 1. Keith Lee and him the whole time fist pumping in slow motion, and the you got 2 behemoths and then moving in slow motion. I don't get it. Overall, gave NXT this week a 1.6.
Wow.
It was really bad. Though I do have to say, Robert Stone associating himself with Killian Dane,
Yeah.
I like. I
Really?
like that. Yeah.
Really?
I think, and I heard something funny that Robert Stone is supposed to be Tony Khan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Well, think about it, too. Well, you know why they named The Big Show, right?
Why?
You never knew why they call it The Big Show, The Big Show?
No.
Think about the letters in each of the name, in each of the words. What is it? TBS, Turner Broadcasting System. That's why they named him that, because it was supposed to be a shot at Turner. It's TBS, The Big Show. Yeah, right?
It's terrible.
It's terrible. All right, so NXT for me, I think it wasn't a bad show. It wasn't the worst show in my opinion, but the lowest point, again, I agree with you. It was that Keith Lee promo. Oh my goodness gracious, that was just terrible. And again, Keith, I don't know who's telling Keith Lee to do that. Number one, because he doesn't talk like that. No. He don't. He has a big vocabulary. Yeah, like there was that one moment where it was funny when he called out Dijakovic, and Dijakovic was just like when he challenged him, and then he was like, and he goes, "Shh, just say yes." I was waiting for him to put his finger in his
Right?
mouth.
That's what I was thinking.
What
the fuck you doing, creep?
I was like, ew, what the fuck?
Smell my finger.
Like, what the fuck? Did he just shush him? Oh my Lord. Yeah, that was just terrible. The highest point for me, it was Io Shirai versus Tegan Nox. I really liked this match. I gave it a 3. Some mentionables, I do got to give it Legado del Fantasma. Their promo, I gave it a 2.5. I just love that setting that they did. It was different.
Yeah.
It was different. It was more of almost like cartel-ish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The Damian Priest versus Cameron Grimes. This was a different Damian Priest, and I have that as my side note. And it looks like he's getting more comfortable in the ring every time we see him, which is good. Okay. Now I do gotta. Oh my God. And this is a little embarrassing. Did you hear about this match, Rick? What happened at the end?
Who?
You didn't hear about it?
No.
Okay. When Damian Priest was pinning Cameron Grimes, watch the video again. Cameron Grimes' hand was, I guess, in between Keith Lee. And he kind of like, as the ref was counting, Cameron Grimes' hand was caressing Damian Priest's nether regions.
Interesting.
Yeah, he gave him a couple taps in the nether regions.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Watch it again. You'll see. It happened right at the pin.
I'll take your word for it. There's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's what you choose to do, then that's what you choose to do. But but there was a few people on the intranet not complaining about it, but they were like, "What the fuck is going on there?" Overall, I gave NXT a 2.07 this week.
Wow. Now it's time for AEW Dynamite.
Kaboom.
Fight for the Fury? What is it called?
Fighter Fest.
Fight for the Fallen? Fighter Fest?
Fight for the Fallen. Fighter Fest.
Something like that, yeah.
It's Fighter Fest.
All right, Fighter Fest. For me, AEW was that show that started off red hot. I thought FTR defeating the Lucha Bros was amazing. I gave that a 4. Second week in a row that the Lucha Bros get a 4 from me. I thought the storytelling in this match was epic. I loved that he ripped off his mask.
Yeah,
and that's
to get the
what
pin.
caused him to lose. After the match is where it went downhill for me with Kenny Omega. Involved in too many things. His hands in too many cookie jars for me with Kenny Omega.
Yeah. And you know what's weird? Because I heard a rumor too that he's supposed to be pushing himself as the biggest star in AEW.
He's not. Let me just say that right now. Kenny Omega is not the biggest star in any wrestling business right now. He could be, but he has not pushed himself at all. He has, in my opinion, has let himself go. He is not even the best person on his tag team. I'll say that right now.
Wow. Who's the Marty in that group?
Yeah. That'll be something to look forward to. And I would say a close second was Cody defeating Sonny Kiss. He gave that a 3.5.
Jesus.
And the storytelling in this match, I told you, I'm huge on storytelling.
Yeah.
You see the slow transition of Cody going into this angry, heelish side where he's getting frustrated. He's putting the title on the line every single week. It's catching up with him. He's on the verge of losing. Sonny Kiss is somebody he thought he can just steamroll over. And I love the way the commentators were showing that. Yeah, he can go right through Sonny Kiss. And Sonny Kiss kept coming back. And Sonny Kiss showed a different side. It wasn't just booty shaking. It was fucking fighting. And it was huge for me. Cody taking off the turnbuckle pad and doing all these things. And Arn Anderson getting in his face like, you're better than that. And it was just great. It was great for me. The rest of the show sucked. Let me just say the lowest point was the Nightmare Sisters defeating Paige and Jenkins. The Jericho promo. Terrible. The only reason why I gave it a 1 was because of Ortiz drowning in the orange juice.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
But I do have to say this. Vicky Guerrero being Nyla Rose's manager is the best thing to happen in that company in a long time. And I'll tell you why.
A lot of people don't like it.
Out of all the managers that they have in AEW, aside from Jake the Snake, Vicky Guerrero is the best manager they got. And Jake the Snake is not as good as live promos as Vicky Guerrero. That promo that she put out there was the cat's meow. Yes, I said meow because she's a cougar. That was the best. I'm telling you, she's going to elevate Nyla Rose because the way that Vicky Guerrero talks, she's mentioned about cheating. She's going to make cheating cool. She's going to make all this. Yo, Vicky Guerrero, I know people are disappointed about it. Hands down, it's going to be the scary Sherry of AEW.
Jesus, wow. That's a bold statement, Rick.
It is.
You might get some. You might get some haterade for that.
After doing that manager special that we did, she checks off all the boxes, Vicky Guerrero. I've always respected Vicky Guerrero. And when she came out and did that promo, the woman can talk. Okay? There's no more comparisons to Eddie Guerrero. She can talk. You know, she's always been able to do that thing. She's always knows how to get you annoyed and to hate her. It's very simple. All she has to do is say 2 words, and you hate her. And that's excuse me. And Vicky Guerrero is going to be the best manager that they have in AEW. Wow. Overall, I gave AEW
that's a bold statement.
2.1.
Wow, Jesus. Wow. Unreal. All right, for me, I'm going to give you my highest first before I do the low points. My highest I gave a 3 was the Brian Cage versus Moxley match. I did enjoy that match, even though I hated the outcome. If they did a different outcome of this match, I probably would have given it higher. But I just hated the fact that fucking Taz, number one, he shouldn't have been commentating during the show. If you have a match that night, well, not a match, but if you're managing Brian Cage that night, then stay the fuck off the mic, dude. I don't want to hear you all episode. I don't. Yeah. I don't. And so that made no sense. Anyway, but I did give the match a 3. I thought it was pretty decent. Another 3 I gave was the Jurassic Express versus the Elite. For some reason, I liked this match. I don't know why, but I liked it. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I just liked how the Elite did destroy them, and still was, and then that little twist at the end with Omega. It was weird. Yeah. What happened, and the Four Horsemen reference. He might be part of it. I don't know. Especially the way you broke it down. It was interesting. All right, so that was the only ones that I highlighted as a 3. Unfortunately, there was a lot of 0.5s on this show. Jericho's promo was at 0.5. He was trying, and the reason why I say that is because he was really trying to explain the ratings that made you look more foolish than anything.
It made you look stupid.
It made you look dumb, made you look stupid. It's like, dude, why do you need to feel the need to explain the rating? For what? You trying to justify that your segment with Orange Cassidy was the lowest viewed segment between all 4 wrestling shows? And you're trying to, no, dude, it sucked. Acknowledge that it sucked and then move forward. Do something else. You shouldn't have been in the program with Orange Cassidy in the first place. But no, you was trying to elevate him and it just didn't work. Go on to something else. Because now, did you hear about this, Rick? And this is why, I mean, I like Jericho. He's a smart, marketable person, but now it's just getting carried away. They got T-shirts out now about him, like they made he made a reference. Yeah, Demo God. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, are you fucking serious? Jesus, man. Oh my Lord, not everything's a damn T-shirt. The other 5 I gave was, I'm sorry, but the Vicky Guerrero announcement at Nyla Rose. You know, it's funny because people always say, oh, you know, and we read it, that they pushing Roman down our throat. They're pushing Charlotte down our throat. What about Nyla Rose? She's hot garbage. She sucks as a promo. She sucks as a wrestler, I'm sorry to say. And it's got nothing to do with what she is. No. So don't even go there. Okay? When I watch her matches, it is so sloppy. So sloppy. And it's like, no, it doesn't work. Okay? It really does not work. She cannot cut a promo to save her life. So that's probably one of the reasons why they brought in Vicky Guerrero. Okay?
And one thing we said during the manager special about this is that us managers are out there to give people a chance that can't talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk for them. Also, I feel like Vicky will be a distraction to Nyla Rose's green wrestling, you know? So
that's
her
true.
being outside that ring will give a chance for Nyla Rose to get better in the ring because they can use cheating tactics to go around the stiffness and shit that she does. So that's that's one of the reasons why I like this pairing. Because maybe with this, Nyla Rose is like, all right, this is my buffer. This is what I'm able to do. Let me perfect the things that I know how to do before I go on to bigger things. Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing. The reason why I gave this a 0.5 is because, and Rick, you know this, I'm a big fan of the element of surprise.
Yeah.
I was not surprised at this at all. When Vicky came out, I was like, oh, all right, well, it's Vicky. And the reason why I had this attitude is because they've shown Vicky how many other times in the past.
That's true.
If they never showed Vicky, you know what? I probably would have gave this a little bit of a bigger rating. I don't know. But I was just not surprised at all. There was no surprise factor there. I was really hoping for somebody else that we have not seen in AEW. But no. It's just the simple
we've seen Sunny, but she got arrested.
I know, right? But here's the deal. We've seen Vicky in the stands, in the audience. She came out a couple times for some nonsense. And then now this is supposed to be a big surprise. This is supposed to be a big reveal. Sorry, wasn't. It wasn't. So don't even go there. The Nightmare Sisters. I didn't even know, like, I'm sorry to say. Yeah, I know, whatever. I haven't seen AEW Dark. Don't care to see it, to be honest. But they made it, for me, as a casual viewer of AEW, because I watch AEW every night, obviously, because we have the show, but I don't watch AEW Dark. I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. But then they were relaying the message of the Nightmare Sisters. This is what's been going on in AEW Dark. Well, how come y'all never showed like a little clip of it so that way people can be like, all right, what the hell's going on with this?
Because there ain't nothing good to show.
Exactly, because there ain't nothing good to show. There's no rhyme or reasons why Brandy and Allie, or whatever the fuck her name is, Bunny, are aligning themselves together during the match. They're not getting along, and all this. It's like Dustin Rhodes is involved with them for some odd reason, and kissing Brandy on her bicep. Oh my god. I gave it a 1 because I felt sorry for the other girls. And the other girls were from NXT. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were NXT girls. It was, oh my God. Now, and again, I feel bad because the Brian Cage versus Moxley match, I gave it a 3. Jurassic Park versus the Elite, I gave it a 3. But unfortunately, with those 0.5s and I had a couple point of 1s, overall, AEW became a 1.64.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. So, this week we have NXT going ahead against AEW in the Wednesday Night Delights.
Mm-hmm.
NXT is currently ahead 25 to AEW's 12.
Wow.
The fellas over at Wrestling POV Global, TJ Logan and Elio Canella, both voted in favor of NXT. Tony, I'm going to make it a little bit hard for you. But I feel like I know where you're going to go with this one. I went with AEW this week. Where are you going?
I'm going with NXT. I'm sorry. I am because the simple fact, like I said, I think what really hurt AEW this week was the 0.5. Jericho's and that threw me off. Not throw me off, but it changed my mood when Jericho was trying to explain the demographics.
Yeah.
Dude,
I agree with you.
That's no reason to do that at all.
For me, AEW started off red hot, and once that promo happened, it went downhill fast.
It was the soggy bread.
Yeah.
They had all the meats and stuff like that in the beginning, but it had that soggy ass bread.
Bread at the end. Yeah, it was bad.
That ruined the sandwich.
All right. It's now time for the SmackDown breakdown. Let me just tell you this about SmackDown. The opening, I really dug it. It felt like old school wrestling, where they talked about what's going to be happening on the episode and everything. But after that, shit. The highest point for me, and it's weird, Lacey Evans defeating Naomi. I gave that a 2.5.
Jesus Christ.
I've been giving a lot of high grades lately. I
On
thought it was
crazy
a little different
matches.
with tying her hair up and stuff like that. People are going crazy on the intranet talking about Naomi deserves better. It's like a hashtag going around. Naomi deserves better. What has Naomi done? I mean, she is athletic. Her in-ring ability is not to par with the other women.
I tell you this much, she's not good at promos.
She's not good at promos.
Not at all.
She's good at reinventing herself. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole glow thing was amazing. But I will tell you this. She does not belong in a picture with Bayley and Sasha and Becky and Charlotte.
Not yet.
And Asuka and Kyrie and Ember Moon and
Jesus Christ.
Bianca Belair and all of these other women. I see her put her back in NXT because honestly, her bubble is about to get popped because Vince unfortunately
so you were talking about her butt.
Vince obviously sees more in Lacey Evans than he does in Naomi. And that, I agree, is not fair. Because Lacey Evans is nowhere near as good as Naomi, in my opinion.
Wow.
And,
okay.
But, the lowest points for me on SmackDown, Moment of Bliss, terrible. Gave that a 1. Firefly Funhouse, gave that a 1. Braun defeating Morrison, gave that a 1. Braun Strowman is the worst thing to happen to SmackDown. John Morrison and The Miz, hilarious. And more so Morrison than The Miz. Morrison, the way he talks and the way he snaps his head, it's gold. I love it.
And I know a person who's like that too. It's funny as hell trying to talk because he really does that. He's not acting like it.
Cesaro Nakamura backstage, terrible. Corbin backstage, terrible. Jeff Hardy backstage, terrible. Overall, gave SmackDown a 1.6 this week.
Wow, you just made me look generous. The best thing that happened on SmackDown, honestly, was the Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles. I gave that a 3. Everything else, it was below a 2. I'm sorry. Strowman versus Morrison, I gave it a 1. But for me, it was like, way to job out Morrison. He had no offense at all. But I do have to say this. This was probably one of the best promos Braun has ever done. Yeah. Because it looked like he wasn't following a script. Because seriously, look at this promo that he did compared to the other ones. You'd be like, yeah, that's not scripted. That's not. He's really saying this. He's making this shit up, which I applaud if it's true. But I can always tell between a scripted and a non-scripted.
That was scripted. I'm sorry.
He added shit to it.
I'm sure he did add shit to it. But there was one line that he repeated twice.
Oh, yeah.
He said the whole line through, and then he forgot what the next line was, so he had to say it again to get him back on track.
Yeah, but see, he got overhyped. He overhyped himself. That's what it was. But at the same time, he was trying to be different, and I think it worked out the best for him, the way he did this promo. So I tip my hat off to him. But before I give the rest of the shit, I have to put something in the book, Rick.
Oh, man.
And that's Braun's headpiece. It looked like he's letting the sides grow out, and it's like he's losing the back of the long hair, and it's like, all right, what's going on there? What's happening there? What is going on?
You know what Braun's, it's looking like? It's looking like Undertaker when he did the American Badass short hair.
A little bit. Yeah. No, I agree with that. That's funny. But, Braun's headpiece is going in the book this week.
All right. Braun's headpiece. You just made the book.
Okay. So now I just got to add, too, Lacey, is this a heel turn for her?
Obviously, yeah. I mean, last week was out there, and this week is just adding to it.
Yeah, I think she was better off as a heel anyways.
Yeah.
A couple other low points I had, it was that match, honestly, was Lacey Evans versus Naomi. Okay, you won, now what? What happens? What happens after that? Where does she go from here? A Moment of Bliss, I thought it was awful. I gave it a 1. Overall, I gave SmackDown a 1.83 this week.
Wow. All right, it is now time for Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. Currently, Raw and NXT are tied with 6 to SmackDown's 1. This week, Tony, I gotta go with Monday Night Raw. SmackDown was trash. NXT, I don't even think NXT was better than AEW this week. So
wow.
I'm going with Monday Night Raw. Like I said, the women's segments alone were better than anything that any other show had. And Angel, Garza, and Andrade defeating the Viking Raiders was also good. So overall, even though there were some really bad moments on Monday Night Raw, there were better moments around it that made it good. So like you had a good segment, bad segment, good, bad. So it was just counteractive. Every time there's a bad segment, a good one followed up on it. So that's my take on it. I'm going Monday Night Raw this week.
All right, well, we're in a bit of a predicament, right? Because going off of my notes, I got NXT ahead of Raw.
All right.
Now, SmackDown was atrocious, so that was last.
Yes.
But it wasn't too far behind from Raw. Mm-hmm. So I do have NXT winning. So tell me something that will make me change my mind. Because right now I'm leaning towards NXT.
And I'm looking at NXT, and I'm trying to find something in NXT that made it worthy of anything. We had Indy Hartwell defeat Shotzi Blackheart because of Robert Stone.
Right.
Keith Lee versus Dijakovic was just so bad for me that I can't.
Yeah, I can't defend that.
I'll tell you this: I had more threes than anything on NXT. NXT had 1 3, which was Priest defeating Cameron Grimes. Io Shirai versus Tegan Nox, I gave it a 2, and I gave it a 2 because Tegan Nox doesn't belong there. I just don't see her as like somebody competitive to fight Io Shirai. So like that was predictable to me. I didn't know if Bayley or Sasha was going to walk out as tag champs against the Kabuki Warriors.
That's true.
And I do have to say, Bianca Belair returning with Ruby Riott was good. The Iconics were good.
Shayna returning.
Shayna returning, I thought was good. I even thought the opening segment of the VIP Lounge with Drew and Dolph was good. I thought it was a good promo from Drew McIntyre, coming back with a Scottish psychopath. But I will follow you wherever you go. So if you decide you want to stick with NXT, we'll give it to NXT this week. But for me, I just NXT had a great opening, but the rest of it just didn't stand out to me.
Right. But what's odd is that both for Raw and NXT, only 1-3 I gave on each show, and it's almost identical, except for Raw. I think what killed Raw was the fact there was the Seth promo, and and the R-Truth versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's the only ones that really hurt Raw, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is a little bit hard for me, Rick, this week. You just made it difficult. But you know what? I'll go with you I'll go with Raw only because the returning Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler coming back, and the one line from Tozawa saying, "I'm out." I thought that was pretty hilarious. But you know what? No, I will go with Raw. You know why? Because I thought it was a better go-home show than these, even though NXT didn't have a go-home show, but I thought this was a better outline for the go-home show. Does that make sense? So
I get you.
I'll agree with you this week.
All right, so Raw is going to go ahead 7 to NXT 6 to SmackDown's 1. Wow, me convincing Tony that Monday Night Raw was better. Who'd have thought? Only in America.
Only in America.
It is now time for our non-pay-per-view points game predictions on the horror show that is Extreme Rules.
We're still waiting on the one stipulation for the Drew McIntyre versus Dolph. But luckily this doesn't count. Doesn't count. All right, first match we got Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Rick, who do you got?
Now I heard Sheamus say on SmackDown, "I'll see you next week."
Yeah, I heard that too.
I don't even know if this match is happening on Extreme Rules. It might be happening on SmackDown. Yeah.
Or maybe he fucked it up.
Yeah.
Maybe he fucked up the line.
With that being said, though, Sheamus is winning.
Really? You think Sheamus? I'm going with Jeff. I think Jeff Hardy's going to win it. I'm hoping that they do that they do away with this, because honestly, I'm just like irritated with it. All right, next for the SmackDown Championship, New Day versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro in a tables match. Now, here's the deal. Before we go on, and I forgot to mention this too, I knew all week, the spoilers were out there that this was going to be a tables match.
And then yet 3 weeks ago when fucking Cesaro pulled out a table.
Yeah, but not only that, it was, Shinsuke was sitting there like, "Oh, I like the idea of the cage and da da da." He was like, "No, table." I was like, "Oh my god, y'all just." Anyhow,
that's why I said that was trash promo.
Yeah, but for me, I want Shinsuke and Cesaro to win this, but when Cesaro pinned Big E, I know they're not. So, but it's non-points anyway. I'm going with Nakamura and Cesaro to win new champions.
Yeah, I want to be going. I'm picking with my heart on these picks. I'm going with Cesaro and Nakamura. Hopefully they win.
Yeah. All right, up next in the United States Championship, Apollo Crews versus MVP. I mean, for me, this is a no-brainer. I'm going with Apollo.
Apollo, hands down.
Eye for an eye. Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins.
I didn't think about it until you said it. I think Seth is going to lose his eye. I think
that'll be interesting.
That's what's going to happen, and he's going to leave for a while.
Yeah.
And return.
That's true.
So I think Seth is losing his eye.
Yeah. All right. So I'll same thing. I'll go with Ray. For the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley versus Nikki Cross. I think Bayley's retaining.
I swear to God, if Bayley loses title to Nikki Cross, I'm going to be upset.
I know you will.
She doesn't deserve that.
No. For the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Sasha Banks.
I'm picking with my heart. I'm going with Sasha Banks on this one.
Wow. I think Asuka's going to retain. She's got to retain it. For the WWE Championship, Drew versus Dolph.
Drew, hands down.
Yeah, Drew's
There's no way Dolph is winning.
In the swamp fight, Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. Does Bray get it? Returns as the Fiend or what?
No, Bray loses, and the following week, I think Otis tries to cash in. Or the Fiend attacks
Or maybe
Braun.
Otis might cash in that night.
That's true. I honestly, I think Braun beats Bray Wyatt, and then the following SmackDown, the Fiend attacks Braun, and Otis cashes in.
That could happen. Or it could happen that night.
Yeah.
It could. But yeah, I agree with you. So, all right. So that's our rundown real quick of the WWE Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
Please have your attention. The store will be closing in 5 minutes.
Well, that's all we need. All right, let's go over to the book. All right, those that are new to the show, basically what we do is we put the most ridiculous things that happen in a week of wrestling, and we just make fun of it. We get a good laugh, and then we go on with our lives. All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Sam Roberts, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck him.
Kofi's Goldilocks.
Stays.
Garza's cousin Speedos.
Stays.
Liv Morgan's Cage Wedgie. We haven't seen her in a while, but I still want to keep it in there.
Yeah.
Coronavirus.
Oh my God, it stays.
Fidel Cody.
I think we can take that out.
Yeah, take it out. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take it out. All right. Jeff Hardy's 1-gallon dehydrated piss jar.
Stays.
Yeah, especially finding out who's behind it all. MVP's older brother's suit.
Stays.
That stays. Dolph something about Mary's hightail. We can take it out.
Stays. I'm
No,
sure
it stays because he had it on in the
Yeah.
ponytail. Braun's nipple piercing.
We can take that out.
Yeah, take it out. What if
I'm
he
sure
shows
he's
it?
gonna take it. Well, let's wait because he's definitely gonna have his shirt off.
That's true too. The TNT title.
Stays. Garbage.
Michael Cole's foot fetish.
Yo, they don't stop talking about this guy's feet.
I
It's
know,
ridiculous.
right? Jericho and Khan demo.
Oh,
That
yeah,
stays.
they stays.
Ruby Riot's green weave.
That stays.
And the new entrant into the book, Braun's headpiece.
That stays. I don't know what you're doing, Braun.
All right,
You
that's
need
it for the
something
show.
different.
Oh, bruh, that was bad. All right, so that's it for the show. Stay tuned next week as we'll bring in more content for you guys and obviously the review of Extreme Rules pay-per-view non-points game. And before we close the show, I will play a song from my playlist of a billion songs and just try to beat the POV crew. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So with that
And
being
next
said,
week,
what?
I just want to make an announcement. Next week, we're going to be joined by Elio Canella.
Elio,
Next
nice.
week, as TJ's taking a vacation. I think he's on a couples retreat with Miguel because Miguel is not here. It's weird. It's like whenever my throat hurts, Miguel is never around to help me.
That's weird.
And it's just
That
so
is weird.
fucking weird. So I think him and TJ went on like a couples retreat because we're getting Elio next week.
Yeah.
Miguel's not scheduled to be here, so we'll see.
Yeah, odd. But yeah, he's going to help us go over AEW, and he's going to give his thoughts and opinions, just like how they do on their global show. So yeah, looking forward to that. And again, if you guys have any comments or questions, throw it on our Facebook page, and we'll make sure we'll talk about it next week. With that being said, I am your host, Tony Diaz, along with the third wheel.
Rick Serrano the third.
And that's pretty much it. So, love, peace, and wrestling. We will see y'all next week.
Peace out.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it. Who incarnation? That is very slow.
Very slow. I might have to. Let me skip.
Is that Flash Funk?
What'd you say?
Flash Funk?
No, it was Bret Hart. You
Oh,
start.
God.
You start the fire. Yeah, that was awful. I got to play something. That was atrocious.
That was garbage.
Yeah.
Triple H.
Speaking of, we don't know the rights.
Where's Tamina when you need her?